Welcome to HFY Galactic Stories, original science fiction tales, where humans face impossible odds, and the galaxy pays the price for its ignorance. Listen carefully. This is where legends are born. The Awakening. The ship had been waiting for a long time, 3 million years to be exact. The ship was just sitting there waiting and waiting for 3 million years. The Galactic Council thing was just floating around in space between star systems. It was far from any planet where people live. Around it was darkness and the light from stars that are very far away. Nobody knows how long the Galactic Council thing had been there. The old records at the Galactic Council say something about it. These records are very old. They were already old when most people on planets were still figuring out how to make a fire. People gave it the name the Eternal Vigil. The ship was really big, 5 times bigger than the largest ship in the Council fleet. The outside of the ship was made of a kind of metal that nobody knew what it was. It was black like space. It reflected light in a weird way that was hard to look at. There were patterns all over the ship like symbols or something. They looked like they might be writing, but nobody could understand what they meant because they were not in any language that anyone had seen before. The Council fleet ship had guns and engines and things like that, but this ship did not have any of that stuff. It just sat there looking perfect and quiet, and it was really scary because it was so silent. The ship was there and that was it. It did not make any noise or do anything. It was just the ship. Every major civilization in the galaxy had tried to claim the thing. The Valorians tried to cut through the hull of the thing with their powers to control energy. Their tools just broke when they hit the metal of the thing. The Zethran Collective is a group of smart scientists who all think together. They tried to get into the systems of the thing by hacking into it. They did not find anything. There were no signals coming from the thing, no places to plug in, no way to get inside the thing. The Krillian Empire is not known for being subtle. They just went ahead, fired their biggest and most powerful weapons at the thing. The ship took all the hits. It did not have one mark on it. The ship was completely fine after all the blast. The ship really did not have a scratch from all that. The Galactic Council made a decision after 2,000 years of trying and failing. They said the Eternal Vigil was a monument that had to be protected. Nobody was allowed to go near the Eternal Vigil, not within 1 million kilometers of it. The Eternal Vigil became a story, a big mystery that people would never figure out. The Eternal Vigil was a reminder that the universe is still full of secrets that people do not understand. Captain Marcus Chin really did not like following rules. He thought that rules were not that important. Captain Marcus Chin would often do things his way even if that meant breaking the rules. Captain Marcus Chin just did not think that rules applied to him. Marcus was flying the survey vessel Horizon's Edge through the Kelvara sector. He was doing this to map asteroid fields and check for mineral deposits. This work was not very exciting. New human explorers like Marcus got this kind of work because Earth joined the Galactic Council 15 years ago. Humans were still trying to show that they were good at this. Marcus did not mind this work. He liked it when it was quiet. The survey vessel Horizon's Edge was a place for him to be alone with his thoughts and the stars. Marcus liked the stars. He liked being alone on the survey vessel Horizon's Edge. Marcus was doing a check when his equipment found something strange. The energy signal was weak. It was definitely there and it was coming from a part of space that should have been empty. Marcus looked at his maps of the stars. The official record said that there was nothing in that direction for a long way, several light years away from the space that Marcus was in, and the energy signal was coming from that empty space. Marcus checked his star charts again to see if he missed something about the space. The sensors of his device were telling the truth. His sensors were definitely not making anything up. His sensors were being completely honest. Marcus changed his mind. Took a different route. The Horizon's Edge was a ship. It was made for one person to be on it, and it was really fast and easy to control. This ship could go to places that bigger ships could not go to. Marcus made the engines of the Horizon's Edge go faster. He went towards the energy signal. He was really curious about what it was, and this feeling was very strong inside him, like a little fire that was burning. 2 hours later he saw the thing that he was looking for. It was right in front of him, the same thing that he had been searching for, and now he finally saw it. The Eternal Vigil came out of the dark like a mountain coming out of the water. Marcus had looked at pictures of the Eternal Vigil in the Council archives. These pictures did not show what the Eternal Vigil was really like. The Eternal Vigil was really big. It was so big that Marcus had a time understanding how big it was. The Eternal Vigil did not look like a ship. It looked like a building, like a church that was made for very important people, like gods. Marcus brought the Horizon's Edge to a stop. He just stared. His heart was pounding hard. Every single instinct that Marcus had was telling him that he should turn the Horizon's Edge around and leave that place. The Council had some strict laws when it came to approaching the Eternal Vigil. If Marcus violated these laws, it could mean that he would lose his exploration license from the Council, and maybe he would even have to go to prison. The energy reading was actually coming from the Eternal Vigil ship. It is really strange because the Eternal Vigil had been silent for 3 million years. Now something inside the Eternal Vigil is working again. Marcus decided to send a message to the council station that was closest to him. This station was 4 years away. That is a long way. It meant that his message would take 4 years to get there. Then the people at the council station would send a message back which would take another 4 years to arrive. Marcus had to do this because the rules said he had to tell the council about anything that happened, like the things he saw, which is why he was sending a message to the council station. This is Captain Marcus Chin of the Horizon's Edge. He is talking into a recorder. Captain Marcus Chin has found something. There is an energy signal coming from the Eternal Vigil. The Eternal Vigil is starting to work. Captain Marcus Chin is going to check it out. If you are hearing this message, that means Captain Marcus Chin did not come back. You need to send help to Captain Marcus Chin. He closed the channel. Then he took a deep breath. The channel was now closed. He felt a little better after he took that breath. The man flew toward the ship. He was heading straight for the ship. The ship was the place he wanted to go to, so he flew toward the ship. As the Horizon's Edge got closer, Marcus thought that alarms would start ringing and warnings would pop up, or that the defensive systems would kick in. That did not happen. What happened was something that just could not be. A part of the Eternal Vigil's hull just swung open, showing a docking bay inside that was filled with a blue glow. The Horizon's Edge was heading straight for the Eternal Vigil's docking bay, and the soft blue light was shining brightly inside the Eternal Vigil. Marcus was looking at the Eternal Vigil, and the Eternal Vigil's docking bay was waiting for the Horizon's Edge. An invitation. Marcus guided the Horizon's Edge into the bay. Soon as the Horizon's Edge crossed the threshold, the opening closed behind the Horizon's Edge with a really loud sound. The Horizon's Edge started to feel gravity. It pulled the Horizon's Edge down to a landing platform very slowly. The sensors on the outside of the Horizon's Edge said that the air was fine to breathe and the temperature was just right. The Horizon's Edge had been traveling for a long time, 3 million years, and the system that kept people alive on the Horizon's Edge was still working just like it was supposed to. Marcus put on his exploration suit anyway. He was curious, not stupid. He wanted to see what the Eternal Vigil had in store for him, so he checked his guns and his emergency beacon and the oxygen he needed to breathe. Then he opened the airlock, stepped onto the Eternal Vigil. The inside of the ship was really nice. The walls were super smooth. Did not have any bumps, and they had those weird symbols on them that were also on the outside of the ship. There were lights in the ceiling that made everything bright. It felt like the sun was shining. The air inside the ship smelled clean. It was almost like a hospital. The ship was extremely clean. It looked like it was made yesterday, not millions and millions of years ago. The ship looked brand. The symbols on the walls of the ship and the rest of the ship were all in great shape. Marcus walked down a long hallway. It felt like it had no end. His footsteps were loud in the quiet. He tried to breathe, but he was really excited and scared at the same time. The excitement and fear were like two people inside him arguing over what he should do. Marcus was inside the mysterious thing in the whole galaxy. He was walking in a place where nobody had been for a long time, even longer than some cities have existed. Marcus was actually walking where no other person had walked for long as people could remember, and that was a pretty amazing and scary thing for Marcus. The corridor took Marcus to a big room that had to be the bridge of the ship. This room was round. The ceiling was so high that it went up into the dark. There was a pedestal in the middle of the bridge, and on this pedestal was a console with symbols that glowed. The symbols on the console seemed to change and move when Marcus looked at them. They rearranged themselves in ways that almost made sense to Marcus. The bridge was pretty amazing. Marcus was curious about the console and the symbols on the console. Marcus walked up to the console slowly. The console looked amazing. It was made of the black metal as the ship's hull. It had crystals all over it that shone from the inside. Marcus put out his hand to touch it. He stopped for a moment. Then he put his palm on the console. The console was beautiful with these crystals that had a light inside them. Marcus was touching the console now. The universe completely blew up and fell apart. It is really crazy to think about the universe exploding like that. The universe explosion is something that I do not think anyone could have seen coming. The universe is gone. It exploded. Light filled up the room. It was so bright that Marcus had to shut his eyes. The ship started to shake. It was not because it was broken. It was like the ship was waking up. The ship was like something that was alive. It was opening its eyes after a very long time of being asleep. Marcus wanted to pull his hand, but he could not do it. The console had a hold of Marcus, not because it was being strong. Because it was connected to the ship, and the ship was connected to Marcus. The ship and the console and Marcus were all connected in a way that Marcus did not understand. The man heard the voice then. It was the voice that he heard. It talked right to his mind. His ears did not hear a thing. The words were in English, the language he grew up with. The way they sounded was weird, like someone from a very long time ago was trying to speak like people do today. We know who you are. You are a person and we are sure about that. Welcome, you are a descendant. The Eternal Vigil has been waiting for the Eternal Vigil to meet you. The Eternal Vigil is really looking forward to this. Marcus found his voice. Are you waiting for me? I really do not understand what is going on. Who exactly are you anyway? What do you want from Marcus? I am the Guardian. The Guardian was made to keep this ship safe until a person came back. The Guardian has been waiting for a long time. 3,472,000 years. You are the human to use this console since the people left. The departure? What departure? The holographic displays turned on around the room. Pictures appeared in the air showing things that were just not possible. Marcus saw a lot of spaceships, thousands and thousands of them, many that they filled up whole star systems. He saw people who looked like us, but they were better, taller, and they had technology built right into their bodies. Marcus saw these people putting life on planets, building whole cities, and changing the galaxy to fit into some big plan. The holographic displays were showing Marcus all these things that seemed amazing to be real. The architects, Marcus whispered. Every civilization in the galaxy knows about the architects. They are famous for the legends about the architects. The architects are a race that people think made life on thousands of worlds. Then the architects just disappeared without giving any reason. The Guardian said that the architects were people. They were the ancestors of Captain Marcus Chin. The architects went to places in the galaxy for a very long time, millions and millions of years. They helped life start on worlds. Each world got something from the architects. When the architects died out, they left something behind for their children. They left the fleet for their descendants like Captain Marcus Chin to have when they finally made it to the stars. The fleet was a gift from the architects to their descendants. The big screen showed the Earth. It looked really nice. It was blue and green. Marcus got emotional and he felt like crying. The Earth on the screen was so beautiful. Marcus felt tears in his eyes when he looked at the Earth. You left the ships for us, for the people of humanity? Did you really leave those ships for humanity? For humanity, the ships were made to be ready when they were ready. These ships would only start working for DNA. No other species could use them. This is how they were made. The people who built the ships, the architects, knew that other groups of living things would come and go. Humans would one day make it to the stars. When humans did make it to the stars, the gift that the architects left for humanity would be waiting for humanity. Marcus pulled his hand away from the console. It let him go this time. He took a step back. His mind was spinning. The Eternal Vigil was the ship that belonged to humanity. I mean, not just this Eternal Vigil. All the Eternal Vigil ships. Marcus looked at the Guardian, which was a hologram. How many ships are there? The Inheritance fleet is made up of 12,000 vessels. These vessels are scattered over the galaxy, just sitting there in the dark spaces between the stars. The Inheritance fleet has technology that's way more advanced than what we have today. The Inheritance fleet has weapons on each ship that are powerful enough to destroy entire planets. Now that you have turned on the node, the entire Inheritance fleet will start working again. Marcus felt the weight of those words like he had been punched. 12,000 ships were coming for humanity. These ships had weapons that were extremely powerful. All of these ships were responding to humanity. Humanity is a species that has not even gone far from its own solar system. The other civilizations think humanity is primitive and new to all of this. 12,000 ships is a lot to handle for a species like humanity. Marcus said the Galactic Council will not accept this. He thought that the Galactic Council will think that we are a threat to them. The Galactic Council will view us as a danger. The Guardian said they will be afraid of you. People often get violent when they are afraid. The people who made this power, the architects, thought that the people who came after them would use it in a way. They thought that people would work together of fighting each other. The architects thought that humanity would be kind to each other. Did the architects think wrong, Captain Shin? Marcus thought about Earth. He thought about all the people on Earth, the billions of people who had no idea that their whole place in the galaxy was now different. Marcus thought about the wars that humanity had fought. He thought about the mistakes that humanity had made. Marcus thought about how humanity was getting better and how painful that progress was. He thought about Earth. How humanity was trying to become better than they were before. He told me that he really did not know. He said that he hopes the people who said that were right. He wants the people who said that to be right about what they said. The Guardian told Captain Chin, "You have to show us that you can do this. The galaxy is going to find out that humans now have the fleet that has ever been made. People are going to see what humans can do with this fleet. They will try to challenge Captain Chin with all sorts of things. The galaxy will test Captain Chin and the humans with everything they have got. The holographic display changed one time and it showed the star systems that were close by and where the alien fleets were. Marcus saw a lot of warships moving, all of them were heading straight for the Eternal Vigil's position. The Galactic Council had found out that the Eternal Vigil was now active. The Galactic Council and the alien fleets were coming for the Eternal Vigil. Marcus Chin was a survey captain. He had been searching for asteroid fields. Now Marcus Chin stood at the center of a storm. This storm was going to change everything for Marcus Chin. The inheritance had finally come to life. The inheritance was now a part of everything. It was like the inheritance was saying that it is time to deal with the past and the things that the inheritance is bringing with it. The inheritance. Now came the hard part. The inheritance. The holographic displays showed 16 warships getting closer and closer to Marcus' position. These warships would get to Marcus in 3 hours. Marcus knew the warships from what he learned. The energy cruisers, the Zethran science vessels and the Krillian battle destroyers with their sharp points. The whole Galactic Council was sending warships to Marcus' position. The Galactic Council was really responding to Marcus. Guardian, Marcus said. His voice was steadier than he actually felt. The Guardian is what he was talking to, so Marcus asked the Guardian, can the ship defend itself? The Eternal Vigil has defenses that really strong, much stronger than what we see in the galaxy right now. If the Eternal Vigil uses its weapons, it would look like the Eternal Vigil is trying to fight. The people who made the Eternal Vigil, the architects, wanted the Eternal Vigil to keep things, not to attack anything. Marcus walked back and forth on the bridge. His mind was really thinking hard. He was the human on a ship that he did not know very well, and there were a lot of alien ships around him. These alien fleets would think of him as either a danger or something they could catch. Every choice Marcus made in the few hours would decide what would happen to humans in the galaxy. Marcus was thinking about the humans and the galaxy a lot. He said, show me the Earth. He really needs to get in touch with the Earth, his home, the Earth. The picture on the display changed, showing the Earth, which is the home of humanity, floating quietly in space. Seeing the Earth like this made Marcus feel a pang in his chest. It has been 15 years since humanity first met the Valorians. This meeting was very calm and full of hope. The Earth became a part of the Galactic Council, like a student wanting to learn and become better. Now the Earth and humanity were about to face something that would change everything for the Earth and humanity. The communication system is now on, the Guardian said. Be aware that every ship around us can hear what we are saying. Our conversation will not be secret. The message we send will be heard by all vessels in range. This means that anything we say will not be private. The Guardian is telling us that our words will be heard by every vessel that can pick up the signal. Marcus said, I understand. Then he opened a line to the people in charge of defending Earth. This is Captain Marcus Chin from the Horizon's Edge, he said. My code is Chin 77 Delta. I am talking to you from inside the Eternal Vigil. I have important information that the Council and the people running Earth's defense need to know. I am sending this message to everyone because we need to be honest about what's happening right now. The situation is serious. We do not have time to keep secrets. This is why I am broadcasting my message openly. I am Captain Marcus Chin of the Horizon's Edge and I am on the Eternal Vigil. He thought for a moment. The question was how to tell the planet that everything the people of the planet believed was not true. This was a tough thing to do because the people of the planet had been believing these things for a very long time. He had to figure out a way to tell them that everything they knew about the planet was wrong. The Eternal Vigil is now working because of DNA. The ship's computer system has shown that the Eternal Vigil is connected to the architects. The architects were an old group of people who started life in many places, in space. They were our ancestors, the people who came before us. The architects left behind a lot of ships, 12,000 of them. They are hidden all over space. These ships will only listen to people to command. The Inheritance Fleet, which is made up of these ships, is now starting to wake up. The Inheritance Fleet is coming to life because of DNA and the Eternal Vigil. The Inheritance Fleet and the Eternal Vigil are connected to people. Marcus could picture the mess his message was creating. The governments of every country on Earth were going to be running like crazy. Every single alien species that was listening to the transmission was probably having an emergency meeting right now. Marcus just kept going. I know that what I am about to say will scare and worry the people who live near us in space. I want to be clear about what we plan to do. Humanity did not try to get this power. We had no idea it was even there. Now that we have it, we will not use it to take over or control others. The architects believed in their descendants to make use of the things they left behind. We will make sure to do what the architects wanted us to do with this legacy. Humanity will use this power in a way and we will not let the architects down. A new voice came through the communication system. It was cold and sharp. "Vessel, this is War Leader Craxus of the Krillian Empire," the voice said. "You need to shut down that ship now and give yourself up to the Council. The Krillian Empire and the Council do not think it is an idea for humans to have the Architect's technology. This technology is too powerful for humans to handle because humans are not as advanced as the Krillian Empire." Marcus felt angry. It was like a fire in his chest. He made sure his voice was calm. "War Leader Craxus, I mean no disrespect. The ship just will not listen to anyone except a human. Even if Marcus wanted to give up the ship, Marcus could not give control to anyone. It is just not possible. The ship will only respond to a human. That is how it is made, and Marcus cannot change that no matter what Marcus wants to do. Then you will be destroyed along with the planet," Craxus said in a tone. "The Krillian fleet has the power to use force. We will not let humanity threaten the peace of the galaxy. The Krillian fleet will do what it has to do to keep the galaxy safe from humanity." Before Marcus could say anything, a new voice came into the conversation. This voice was really musical. Had a lot of depth to it, which meant it was probably from the Valerian people. "You do not get to make decisions for the Council, War Leader," the voice said. "My name is Ambassador Lyrian. I am from the Valerian Concordance. Captain Chin, the Valerian Concordance wants to have a meeting with you to talk things through before anything happens." "The time for talking is over," Craxus said. "The human has turned on a weapon that has been sleeping for 3 million years. Every moment we wait gives the time to get more ships ready. The human is a threat. Craxus knows that the human will keep using these ships. Craxus is worried that the human will activate more of these weapons." "Guardian," Marcus said in a voice not using the main channel. "Are Guardian ships in the fleet turning on?" "No, the Inheritance fleet is not doing anything. The Inheritance fleet remains dormant. Only this vessel and the Nightfall vessel have started to work a bit. The Nightfall vessel has begun to get its power going. It is waiting for a person to give it the okay before it can do everything it is supposed to do." Marcus went back to the channel. "Ambassador Lyrian, I agree to meet with you to talk things over. I will not turn on any of the Eternal Vigil's weapons. The Eternal Vigil will just defend itself, that is all. I want to make it clear that the Eternal Vigil will stay in a position, and that is my plan for the Eternal Vigil. Ambassador Lyrian, I am looking forward to our meeting to discuss things about the Eternal Vigil." Craxus said the human is not telling the truth. He thinks the human wants time so he can get his fleet together. "I need some time to stop people from getting hurt," Marcus said. "War Leader, my people have been members of the Galactic Council for 15 years now. In all that time, have we ever done anything to make you think we like to fight or cause trouble? We have shared what we know with everyone. We have kept our promises. The Galactic Council and galactic peace are very important. To us, we just want to learn and help make things better. We want to contribute to peace and be a part of it. My people and the Galactic Council can work together to make sure everyone is safe, and that is what we want. We want peace." There is silence on the channel. Marcus is taking advantage of this situation. He is pressing his advantage. The channel is really quiet now. Marcus is using this to his advantage. Marcus is going to keep pressing his advantage. The architects were people like us. They were also the ones who made the Valorians and the Zethrin and the Krillians and all the other species that are part of the Council. They put life on your planets. They gave the Valorians and the Zethrin and the Krillians the things that make them who they are. The architects did not try to take over the Valorians or the Zethrin or the Krillians. The architects made the Valorians and the Zethrin and the Krillians. Does that sound like something a species would do if they wanted to hurt others? The architects created the Valorians and the Zethrin and the Krillians. They did not make weapons to fight them. Craxus said that the words sounded really good. The words do not mean anything when Craxus has 12,000 warships to back up what Craxus is saying. A new voice joined in. It was really weird. It sounded like a lot of people were talking at the same time. This was the Zethrin Collective. They said that Captain Chen's idea made sense. The Zethrin Collective looked at all the architect sites all over the galaxy. They did not find any signs of fighting or taking over. Every site they visited had tools for building things, not for hurting people. The Zethrin Collective thought that humans would probably not be aggressive. They gave it a 23% chance that humans would be aggressive. The Zethrin Collective was talking about humans. What they might do. 23%, Craxus said with a laugh. That is still a chance that the artificial intelligence system is not going to take. Craxus will not take that chance with 23%. Marcus looked at the display. The Krillian vessels were going ahead of the others. They were getting their weapons ready. The Krillian vessels were preparing to attack. This was happening even though people were still talking about an agreement. War Leader Craxus had already made up his mind about what the Krillian vessels would do. The Krillian vessels were really going to attack. Guardian, how long until the Krillian ships are in firing range? 17 minutes at current speed. Can we get away from them? We do not want to deal with them, so can we just evade these people? The Eternal Vigil has a powerful propulsion system. It is way better than what the Krillians have, 40 times better. If the Eternal Vigil wants to evade the Krillians, it would be very easy. The Eternal Vigil can get away from them without any trouble. If the Eternal Vigil runs away, the Krillians will think the Eternal Vigil is guilty of something. Marcus clenched his fists. What happens if they start shooting at the ship? The Eternal Vigil has shields that will take the hit from their weapons, and the Eternal Vigil will not get hurt at all. The people who built the Eternal Vigil, the architects, they thought of something. If someone attacks the Eternal Vigil, it will fight back with a plan. The Eternal Vigil will stop the vessel from fighting, but the Eternal Vigil will not destroy it. Disable how? The electromagnetic pulse is going to target the power systems of the enemy ships. This will cause the hostile ships to lose all power for 4 hours. The crew of the ships will be okay, they will not be hurt. However, the ships themselves will be unable to move during this time. The electromagnetic pulse will leave the crew of the ships without any power, and the ships will just be sitting there not able to do anything for 4 hours. This was not the solution, but it was better than what could have happened. Marcus opened the channel again. Ambassador Lyrian, I am asking you to tell the fleet to stay where they are. If the Krillian fleet attacks me, my ship will have to defend the fleet. I do not want to hurt the fleet, but I will not let the Krillian fleet destroy my ship. I am talking about the fleet and my ship, and I want to make sure that the Krillian fleet and my ship are safe. Ambassador Lyrian, please order the fleet to hold position so the Krillian fleet and my ship can avoid a fight. The Valerian Concordance does not have any say in what the Krillian military does. Lyrian. Marcus could tell that she was really upset. The Valerian Concordance has no control over the military. War leader Craxus is in charge. He makes his own decisions. The Krillian military and war leader Craxus do what they want. Then he should know what the Eternal Vigil is about, Marcus said. Guardian, show me what the Eternal Vigil can do to defend itself. Just give me the basics on the Eternal Vigil's capabilities. The holographic display that Marcus could see. He was aware that the same information was being sent to every ship that was close enough. This information included the strength of the Eternal Vigil's shields, how power it was generating, and some basic ways to counter any attacks. The numbers were really big. The Eternal Vigil's shields were very strong. Could handle being shot at by every ship in the Krillian fleet for a long time without breaking down. The Eternal Vigil could really take a lot of damage. There was silence on the channel. Then Craxus spoke up. His voice was really tight with anger. You are threatening the Craxus and his people with the idea that you're better than the Craxus. Marcus said, I am telling you how things really are. War leader, I do not want to fight you. If you make me fight you, you will definitely lose and you will not get anything out of it. The people on your ships will be okay. Your ships will not be able to work anymore. Is being proud more important to you than not being humiliated? There is silence. Marcus can imagine what the Krillian command ship is doing. They are thinking about what to do. Craxus is a warrior. He is not stupid. The Krillian command ship is trying to figure out if they should attack. Attacking a force with no chance of winning is not brave. The Krillian command ship would be making a mistake if they attacked the superior force. It would be like killing themselves. Marcus knows that Craxus is a warrior and he will not do something that will get him killed. Attacking a force with no chance of victory is just not a good idea. It is like suicide for the command ship. The war leader finally spoke up. He said, the Krillian fleet is going to stay right where it is. You need to know something, human. The Krillian fleet is watching you. If you do anything to hurt any world that's part of the council, the Krillian fleet will fight back with all its power. Marcus said that is okay with him. He just wants a chance to show that the intentions of Marcus are good. Marcus really wants to prove that Marcus means no harm. Ambassador Lyrian's voice came on. Captain Chin, I am getting close to where you're in a shuttle that does not have any weapons. It is a shuttle. Will you let me come on board the Eternal Vigil? I think it would be good for us to talk in person. Talking face to face about the Eternal Vigil would be really beneficial for the Eternal Vigil. Marcus looked at the Guardian. He said, can you check the Guardian's shuttle for anything that might hurt us, like weapons or other dangers? The scan is finished. The ship has one person from Valoria on it, which is Ambassador Lyrian. There are no guns, no bombs, and no bad things that can hurt people. Ambassador Lyrian seems to want peace. Permission granted, Ambassador, Marcus said. The docking bay coordinates are being sent to you now. 20 minutes later, Marcus stood in the docking bay as the Valerian shuttle came to a stop on the platform. The airlock swung open. Ambassador Lyrian stepped out. She was really tall and elegant. Her skin was a blue color that looked like it was glowing from the inside. The Valorians are famous for being able to control energy. Marcus could see tiny patterns of light moving under her skin. It looked like little rivers of power were flowing underneath. The Valorian shuttle was still sitting there behind her. Marcus was looking at Ambassador Lyrian. He could not help but notice the Valorians and their amazing ability to manipulate energy. Her eyes, big and golden, were looking at Marcus with a lot of curiosity. "Captain Chin, you are not as old as I thought you would be." Marcus said, "I am 32. He wanted to know if 32 is an age. The person who has the power to decide what happens to the galaxy, can they really do it? Yes. She looked around the place where the spaceships were parked. She seemed really amazed. It has been 3 million years. Everything still works just fine. The people who built this, the architects, they were really something." Marcus said this softly. He said, "They were human. My ancestors were human." Lyrian walked up to him slow, like she was scared that moving too fast would scare him away. "That must be a lot to take in for you," she said. "Your whole species just found out that they come from the civilization in the whole galaxy. I mean, that is a deal. For your species, being descendants of the galaxy's greatest civilization is a huge thing to learn." "It is really too much to handle," Marcus said. "The ancient fleet is a deal. Hours ago I was just looking at asteroids. Now the ancient fleet is about me. Everyone is either scared of the fleet or they want to be in charge of the ancient fleet." Lyrian said this in a voice. "The Valorians have not forgotten what the architects did for us. The architects gave our people some important things. They showed our ancestors how to use energy and control it. The architects taught our ancestors how to make the energy do what we want it to do. If the architects had not helped us, the Valorians would still be a basic species. The Valorians owe the architects a lot. We can never pay back the architects for what they did for the Valorians. The Valorians will always be grateful to the architects." Thought for a moment, trying to say the right thing. "Captain Chin, I came here to ask you something. What are you going to do with this power, Captain Chin?" Marcus had been thinking about that question since the moment the Guardian told everyone the truth. He walked with Lyrian toward the bridge. They talked as they went. Marcus wanted to know more about what the Guardian said, so he kept talking to Lyrian about it. The Guardian was still on Marcus' mind as he walked. The Guardian said that the architects believed in humanity and thought we would use this legacy in a way. "I do not think I am making good decisions, Ambassador. I'm really scared. The architects have given us 12,000 ships. That is a lot of power. We could take over the galaxy with that many ships. We could hurt a lot of people. Destroy whole civilizations. We could even change everything to be what humans want it to be. The thought of what we could do with the legacy of the architects is terrifying to me." The people walked into the bridge. Lyrian gasped when she saw it. Her eyes looked like they were shining from the light of the console. Marcus kept going. "I keep wondering why the architects left us. The architects had a lot of power. They could have done anything they wanted. The architects did not want to be in charge of everything. The architects wanted to make things. The architects gave things to every species they helped start. Then the architects let those species take care of themselves. I think about the architects a lot. I want to know why they left. The architects are really interesting to me because they had all this power and they used it to help species." Marcus put his hand on the console. Then the Guardian showed up in a form. The Guardian said, "If the architects had wanted people to take over everything, they would have given us rules on how to do it. They did not do that. They gave us a test instead. The architects gave this power to the architects' descendants. They trusted the architects' descendants to make the right choice." Lyrian asked me a question. He said, "What path are you going to choose?" Marcus took a breath. "Guardian, can the inheritance fleet be used for things than fighting?" The architects came up with a plan for these vessels. They made the vessels so they can do a lot of things. The architects designed the vessels to be used for exploration, for changing planets, to make them livable, for helping people who are sick or hurt, for helping people after a disaster, for studying the world, and for transporting people in a peaceful way. The vessels can also be used for defense. The architects made the vessels to be very useful. The vessels can be changed to do all these things because the architects designed them that way." Marcus said to Lyrian, "That is my answer." He turned to face Lyrian. "Humanity is not going to use this fleet to take over places. We will use it to make the galaxy a better place. We will share what we learn from the technology. * we will help any species that needs it. * we will defend ourselves if someone attacks us. We will never attack first." Marcus wanted to make it clear that humanity will always try to do the thing with this fleet. Humanity will use this fleet to make things better in the galaxy. We will always try to help and do things with the technology we have. Lyrian's face did not show what she was thinking. "Those are words, Captain Chin. How do we know that people will really do what they say they will do? Marcus said, you can never really know for sure. I do not know if the Valorians or the Zethran or any other species will always do the thing. The Valorians and the Zethran and other species may not always act with honor. Trust is something you decide to do, Ambassador. The architects decided to trust humanity with this responsibility. The architects chose to trust humanity. Now I am asking you to trust humanity to make the same choice that the architects made to trust humanity with this legacy. Before Lyrian could say anything, the Guardian spoke up. Warning, I am detecting a lot of energy at the edge of the system. There are ships coming into normal space right now. The Guardian said this because the Guardian was seeing a lot of energy from these ships. The ships are now in our system. The picture on the display changed and Marcus saw some new ships showing up. Marcus' heart sank. These were not the ships from the Council. The Krillian ships were bigger. They looked like they were ready to fight. They were sending out messages that said they were from the Krillians. The home fleet, Lyrian said in a very quiet voice. War leader Craxus asked for ships to come and help the Krillian home fleet. Marcus looked at the ships on the display. There were 60 ships, including 3 carriers that were really big compared to the other ships in the system. The Krillians did not come here to talk things out. The Krillians came here to get rid of the Krillians' idea of a threat, which the Krillians saw as a problem that needed to be taken care of. Captain Chin, Craxus' voice was really loud on the communication system. He said, you have to make a decision now. You have to turn off the power to the Eternal Vigil and listen to what the Council says. If you do not do what they say, they will destroy the Eternal Vigil and all the places where humans live in this part of space. Captain Chin, you have to make up your mind. The Eternal Vigil and all the human colonies are in danger if you do not surrender. Marcus looked at Ambassador Lyrian. She looked like she was in a lot of pain. I do not have the power to stop the Krillian Empire, Captain Ambassador Lyrian said. The Krillian Empire makes its decisions when it comes to keeping people safe. If the Krillian Empire thinks you are a danger, the Krillian Empire will take action against you. Then they are making me do this, Marcus said. He turned to the console. Guardian, can you get in touch with the ships in the Inheritance Fleet? Yes, all of the vessels, all 12,000 of them are listening to what's being said. The vessels are all tuned in and ready. Marcus felt the weight of history pressing down on him. This was a deal. We are talking about 3 million years of waiting for something to happen. 3 million years of silence. Now Marcus, one human being had to make a huge decision. He had to decide whether to wake the gods or let the gods sleep. The gods had been sleeping for long. It was up to Marcus to decide what to do with the gods. The man wanted to know what would happen if he turned on the fleet. He asked this question because he was curious about the fleet. What happens if I activate the fleet, he said to himself. Then he asked the question out loud. Every ship is going to come to this location. It will take them somewhere between 6 hours and 3 days to get here. This is because the time it takes will depend on where the ships are right now. Once all the ships get to this location, they will wait for your commands. The ships will just wait here until you tell them what to do with the ships. The Krillian warships, 60 of them, are going up against a number of architect vessels, 12,000 to be exact. This is not going to be a fight, it is going to be a destruction. The Krillian warships will be very bad. Marcus is the one who will start this thing happening to the Krillian warships. The Krillian warships will be no match for the 12,000 architect vessels. If he did not do anything, the Krillians would destroy him. The Krillians would attack the Earth's colonies. This would result in the Krillians killing thousands of humans. They would do this to prevent the Krillians from thinking the humans are a threat to the Krillians. The Krillians would kill thousands of humans. Marcus said that there has to be another way to do this. He really thinks that there is another way. The thing is, Marcus believes that there must be another way. Lyrian said this in a voice. You should turn on enough ships to keep yourself safe. Do not use much power. Show everyone that humanity can be in charge without being mean or using much force. Humanity needs to prove that it can have power and still be fair. Humanity has to show that it can be strong without hurting others. Marcus nodded slowly. This was a risk. If the Krillians saw that Marcus was weak, the Krillians would attack Marcus. If Marcus showed that he could control himself, other species might think that Marcus was wise. Guardian, I need you to activate the 12 ships that are closest to us right now. I want the Guardian to use protocols only. The Guardian should not use any weapons unless I tell the Guardian to do so directly. Acknowledged. Transmitting activation codes. The holographic display showed 12 points of light over the system. These were 12 old ships that were waking up after a very long time. Millions of years. Now these ancient ships started moving towards the Eternal Vigil. The Eternal Vigil was what they were heading for. The speed of these ships was more than what the Krillian vessels could do. The Krillian vessels just could not keep up with the ships. War Leader Kraxus' voice was really angry. You really think you can just activate War Leader Kraxus' ships? That is like saying you want to fight us. That is war. This is me defending myself, Marcus said. War Leader, you came with 60 ships to scare one person, Marcus. Marcus is going to use 13 ships to protect Marcus. If you fight, Marcus' ships will stop your ships without hurting the people on them. If you leave quietly, Marcus, and you can still talk things over and find a peaceful way to solve the problem. The Krillian Empire never backs down from people who are not as advanced as the Krillian Empire. The Krillian Empire is always ready to deal with primitives. The Krillian Empire will not run away from the primitives. Then the Krillian Empire is going to find out that being too proud is not a thing, Marcus said. Guardian, are the Krillian Empire's ships in the right place to protect the Krillian Empire? Yes, that is correct. The Eternal Vigil is now surrounded by 12 vessels that are working together to protect it. They have all their shields up and ready to go. The vessels and the Eternal Vigil are waiting for orders to tell them what to do. Marcus looked at the display. The Krillian fleet was getting into position to attack. Kraxus had decided what to do. The Krillian fleet was going to fight. There was going to be a battle with the fleet. Something strange happened next. A new voice came into the conversation. It was old and wise. It sounded like this voice was in charge of everything. War Leader Kraxus, I am High Chancellor Vareth of the Galactic Council. You must stop what you are doing now. The Galactic Council is telling you to stand down, War Leader Kraxus. This is not a request, it is an order from the Galactic Council. The High Chancellor, this person is telling me that a human being has turned on these old weapons. The ancient weapons. I know what is going on, War Leader. I also know that Captain Shin only used 13 ships to defend against the Krillian Empire's 60 ships. Captain Shin has been very careful. You are about to start a war that will not help the Krillian Empire or anyone else. The Krillian Empire will get in trouble if you do not stop. You need to stand down. You will not be in command of the Krillian Empire ships anymore, and the Krillian Empire will have to deal with sanctions. The Krillian Empire does not want that to happen. The war will hurt the Krillian Empire. There was silence. Marcus held his breath. Kraxus finally said something. You could tell he was really angry. The Krillian fleet is going to leave. This is not the end of it, human. Marcus said to the war leader, I hope that is the case. Because the time something like this happens, I might not be so patient with the war leader. The Krillian vessels started to turn and leave. They had big engines that lit up as they went away from the system. Marcus saw the Krillian vessels go and his body stopped being so tense. He was shaking because he was so relieved that the Krillian vessels were finally leaving. Ambassador Lyrian put his hand on Captain Chen's shoulder. He said, You made the decision, Captain Chen. Captain Chen showed that the people of Earth are worthy of this gift. Captain Chen proved that humanity deserves this inheritance. Marcus looked at the 12 ships that were holding position around the Eternal Vigil. These were ships that his family had built a long time ago. They were waiting for Marcus to tell them what to do. Marcus thought about Earth and all the people who lived there. He was thinking about the billions of people on Earth whose lives would never be the same again because of what had happened. The Eternal Vigil and the 12 ships were ready for Marcus to give the order. Marcus thought about the people on Earth and what they were going through. The person said, Guardian. He wanted to know what the architects wanted them to do with the fleet. What were the architects' plans for the fleet? They wanted their descendants to finish the work that they started. The work is to explore the regions of space. We need to protect life wherever life exists in space. They also wanted different species to work together and not fight each other. This is what Captain Chen should really think about. The real inheritance is not the spaceships. The responsibility that comes with the spaceships. Marcus nodded slowly. Then that is what we will do. I accept the inheritance on behalf of humanity. I swear that humanity will honor the architects' legacy. We will make sure that the architects are remembered for what they have done for humanity. The architects will always be a part of humanity. We will do our best to follow the architect's vision for humanity. The Guardian's holographic form seemed to smile. It said, Welcome home, descendant of the people who came before you. The galaxy has been waiting for the descendant to come back. The Eternal Vigil is outside. You can see 12 really old ships just floating there in a perfect line. The ships are black. They shine a little bit because of the starlight. There are thousands of ships all around the galaxy and they are all listening too. They are ready to wake up when the Eternal Vigil calls them. The Eternal Vigil is important. The ships are waiting for it to say something. The age of humanity had begun. People were finally starting to do things on their own. This was a deal for humanity. Humanity was going to change in a lot of ways. The age of humanity was an exciting time. Not with conquest, but with responsibility. Not with war, but with wisdom. Marcus Chin was a survey captain who spent his time searching for asteroids. Then something big happened to Marcus Chin. Marcus Chin became the human to get the biggest inheritance in the whole galaxy. This was a big deal for Marcus Chin. The story was far from over. It was only beginning.